spell out some of Labour's key immigration policy for us?
This issue of the Windrush is the big one at the moment, and as one who spent 2 years of my life in Jamaica, I have a great empathy for people from the Caribbean and the anger that they now feel, having been in this country for 40, 50 years, working very hard for our communities, now being told they no longer belong and have got to go. I have constituents in that situation, and this is not new. It was warned about. The first cases came to light 2010, 11-ish, became very public. Diane Abbott warned about it, John McDonnell warned about it. I specifically spoke about it in Parliament in 2013. Diane took the case straight to the then Home Secretary, Theresa May, who dismissed it all. And now we have the government in complete disarray, having to apologise to the entire community and offer compensation. The compensation must cover all the costs, but it also must cover the costs of people's loss. There are people who were not allowed to continue their jobs, dismissed, been unemployed for 10 years as a result of this. They deserve compensation as well for all of that. It's going to cost the government quite a lot of money, solely because of the decision of the then Home Secretary and her successor.
Okay. Would a Labour government impose a cap on migrant numbers?
No, we would look at migration on the basis of the economic needs of the country, and we would not set arbitrary targets such as this government has, which hasn't managed to meet them anyway. And we would also separate student numbers from people that are migrating for family reunion or migrating in order to contribute to our economy and our society.
Okay. Now, just regarding Windrush, the Tories are likely to lose the support of ethnic minorities. So how does Labour propose to draw that support away from the Conservatives?
What we're saying to all communities is that Labour speaks for everybody. We will not tolerate divisions in our society, we will not tolerate racism in any form whatsoever. We also recognise there are serious problems where black young men too often end up in our criminal justice system, too often end up in our prisons, too often end up in our mental health services. We have to do better in our schools and our education, but with the young people from minority ethnic communities. Look at the issues of stop and search, who's most likely to be stopped, who's most likely to be searched. All those issues have to be looked at, and that's why I think we have an excellent Shadow Home Secretary in Diane Abbott and Justice Secretary in Richard Bergen, who both understand these things. They both understand inner city communities.
Okay. Now, visas for skilled professionals from India are a sticking point into the government and India. So what policy will a Labour government have on migrants from South Asia?
The visa system for South Asia, and particularly India, is very difficult at the moment, and many companies are telling me that they have research facilities in India, pharmaceutical companies, or they have highly skilled people they want to bring in from India, and they wait months and months and lots of arguments with the Home Office, and they can't get them in. There is an economic imperative that this system be simplified and speeded up. We also have to recognise that all of our universities have relationships all around the world. There's something good about students from Britain studying for a year in India and students from India studying for a year in Britain, as well as those that want to come here and do their entire degree. And so we would simplify and speed up the educational visa system as well as the business visa system. The other thing we have to look at is the family reunion issue. At the moment, the government has put an arbitrary income figure on families to bring children in, which is unachievable. And the pain and the hurt, your children can't join you here, is awful. That will be dealt with.
What relationship will the Labour government have with the Indian Prime Minister?
Well, I've met Prime Minister Modi when he was here on a previous visit. We had a very long discussion about student numbers, student visas, about trade between Britain and India, and obviously there is a huge economic trade both ways. The Tata Company, after all, owns a large part of our steel industry and also very involved in our automotive industry. And so there's always going to be that close relationship between Britain and India. And we had a very good discussion about that. And where we reached a very good understanding and agreement was particularly on the issues of visas and students and particularly the high-skilled people that we want in both countries, because there are people that are very skilled in industry and research here that wish to work, or their companies need them to work in India, and vice versa. So we got on very well on those issues.
Can I just ask you about your visit to the temple? So how was it?
Absolutely beautiful. This is a Jain Temple, and I have enormous interest and respect for the Jains, for the work they do, but also their teaching, the teachings of non-violence, the teachings of vegetarianism, and the way in which they involve people in debate and discussion. And they asked me that Jains be recognised in the census in the future. I think it's important that all faiths be recognised in the census, so we understand that we are a truly multi-faith society.